Hey, I'm Claire.
And I'm Janice.
And this is The X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
We are breakup coaches here to help you beat your breakup,
Heal your broken heart,
and move on to an amazing, abundant life. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another fun episode of X-Files. Would you consider this topic fun, Claire?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It's time. It's time that we stop this. So
Yes.
I think that is fun, and perhaps this will contribute in some small way.
Oh, it's going to contribute. There's not that much very good content about this, especially as far as podcasts go. So I'm excited to cover it. This episode will be, I guess, a tiny bit different, maybe a bit shorter at least, but
Yeah.
yeah,
To the point, because we're not fucking around.
For sure. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that if you want to continue to pay it forward, you can always leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We've gotten some really, really beautiful reviews recently. We got one a couple days ago by a woman who said that, she's going through a breakup and she's listened to a handful of the episodes several times, she said. And we've had multiple people say that. And I just think it's a really beautiful thing.
Yes.
Well, it's a beautiful thing to hear as a podcast host. And also just know that when you leave these reviews, it actually helps other people to also benefit in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, our lives are ran by algorithms of varying types.
That's true.
And that's the thing, is that if you review us, it helps people who are in your situation right now find us. And if this has been helping you, then please do pay it forward so that others can also benefit from it, because this is like, we're sharing all this stuff for free and we want people to be able to benefit from it. And
Absolutely.
So
we're here to make an impact in that way. So remember, even if you listen on Spotify, you can still review on Apple. It's it's really not that difficult. And if you
Google it.
I don't know why I said that. All right. If you send us a screenshot of your review, we will send you a special thank you in the mail. And that's because we really like to connect with our listeners. That's also why we have the Facebook group. It is really exciting to actually interact with you. And I am a fan of snail mail. And so that's something that I enjoy doing. So please be in touch with us if you do send a review.
Yes.
And then on another note, we just want to thank everyone. It has been such an incredible experience doing this podcast. We have really, really lovely listeners. We have lovely people in the Facebook group. We have very generous listeners who send us beautiful DMs all the time. And it's taken off in more ways than we thought it ever would. And so we just want to thank you and congratulate you for even listening and committing to yourself. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, it is so fulfilling. And I'm just like shocked every time someone reaches out and is like, oh, when you said this, or when Janice said this, that just like put things in a totally different perspective for me. And I'm like, what is life? This is amazing. This is like, I knew that this was possible to have a positive effect on people, but hearing it back and reflected back is so fulfilling and so cool, and it just like really makes it worth it, because this is a lot of time and effort we put into this. But it's all like so amazing to hear that it's really actually impacting people. So thank you for telling us. Like I've said before, we love positive reinforcement.
Yes, I guess everyone does. We're certainly no exception. So thank you to everyone out there. Thank you for tuning in today to talk about negging.
Negging.
It really sounds dirty to me. I think it's because it sounds like
it does. I think it's like I don't know,
or rimming,
or like
okay,
fapping.
But we're not here to talk about sex stuff. Today we're here to talk about negging and also toxic flirting behaviors.
Yeah, toxic flirting behaviors, kind of the the shitty stuff. So
Yeah.
why have we decided to talk about negging and
Mhm.
toxic flirting behaviors? Well, there's a lot of reasons that
Mhm.
are possibly obvious to you, but first of all, it's super prevalent especially in the dating again phase, where maybe you're a little bit older and people might be starting to figure out about psychology and how
Oh,
to
yeah.
like
Mhm.
manipulate people,
Mhm.
and are going into it with intention, which we do suggest, but the
Mhm.
wrong intentions. They want to manipulate people
Yeah.
into dating them. Um, and honestly, it's our opinion, and we think that you should treat it this way too. When someone does this, it's about a lack of respect.
Mhm.
And we want you to be attracted to people who respect you. We don't want you to be attracted to people who are manipulating you into being attracted to them through nefarious
Yeah.
means.
And even I took quite a deep dive into this subject preparing this episode, and some of the mentality out there about these techniques is that it like levels the playing field, and so therefore it's not nefarious. I disagree.
What?
I don't even view dating that way. So another
Yeah.
reason is also, despite what you might see online, that this, there's been a lot of awareness raised and, backlash against the men who, perpetuate it, but it's still happening. It's still a very, very common dating trend. And we like to talk about dating trends,
Yeah.
So, and also I've noticed predatory flirting can come up in the moving on journey, because there are people out there who will try and use our journeys against us. Very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Making comments on it. I was watching a date, it just occurred to me in this moment. I was watching that same dating show that I've mentioned on this show before, where the person wears the same outfit and goes to the same restaurant but sees 5 different people. It was
Ooh.
really short-lived, and it was on Netflix, and I was living in Australia. Anyways,
Gosh.
an interesting dating show for sure. But I remember one woman went on there and she was divorced, and she, mentioned about her divorce and kind of said that she was really young when she got married, and that her religious background, there's lots of pressure to marry young and to marry this particular person. And she said, like even when it happened, when she got married, she kind of knew that it wasn't right, but she felt like she kind of had to do it. Just being
Uh-huh.
very honest about
Yeah.
common experience that many people who get married young feel. And this guy just flipped his shit, said that she was dishonest for marrying the guy, said that he would never trust her, said, just totally turned it around. She's just sitting there being honest and talking. And she actually ended up getting up and leaving. And she went to the
Yeah.
car and cried. It was so sad and
What a
horrible.
dick.
I know, but
And
people could, easily use
yeah,
your
and
recent breakup
also
against you.
like how fortunate that he immediately showed his true colors, because that information, when you share something
Mhm.
that's kind of like tender and close to you, um when you don't know someone that well, and I know that that's like when you're a sensitive person who wants to start off by sharing and like having an
Yeah.
emotional connection with someone,
Mhm.
you leave yourself open to someone taking in information that they know could really hurt you
Yep.
and using it against you
Yep.
later. I really suggest letting people earn information, but I'm
I
so
agree.
glad it turned out that way for her.
Yeah, and I
Honestly.
mean, he was the only one. She actually ended up meeting someone on the show, and it turned out well. But it was
Yeah.
just, I mean, and you could tell he was so comfortable doing it too.
What
I would
a
say I know it was horrible. Claire, would you agree that we grew up in cultures that kind of emphasize teasing as
Yes.
a form of flirting?
Oh,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. So I would
Yeah.
say this is definitely very, very prevalent in America. And I experienced it also in Australia. We have listeners from all over the world, so not everyone will relate to this, but I know just all growing up, and even to this day, I get teased as a form of flirting, and I have always kind of hated it actually.
Yeah.
But do you kind of feel like there's this pressure to kind of buckle under the the pressure of, don't be so sensitive, just be fun, and just kind of put up with it, right?
Yes. I mean, I think it's been acceptable it's been
exactly.
almost conditioned,
Mm-hmm.
from a very young age,
Mm-hmm.
from like the playground
Right.
situations,
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he's only teasing you because he likes you.
Mm-hmm.
And, we could talk about how, the masculine isn't given a lot of other options for showing their emotions. However, speaking from personal experience, like it has been a long time since I entered into a committed relationship with someone who flirted by teasing me.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a very long time, and it is possible to find, speaking from like heterosexual relationship, my experience, like it is possible to just cut that off in its tracks and just don't date those people.
Yeah, well, we're
Because
gonna talk about it. Yeah,
yeah,
I mentioned it because I don't think that some people realize that it's kind of related to negging, and I think that this is why negging, took off, is because teasing and making kind of rude comments and saying that it's kind of a joke is very acceptable. But I think that it's a bullshit way to flirt. I think I would actually kind of disagree with you that this is just something that men feel comfortable with because they don't have lots of, I guess, options. I think maybe they think they don't, but I think it's more because people just don't know how to relate to each other. They don't know how to ask questions. They just don't know how to be humans.
Because
honestly, maybe they are also brought up to think that that's okay, rather than being brought up to how to converse, how to get information, how to be a decent dude.
Well, it takes a lot more effort to be nice to someone and earn their trust that way. I think teasing is kind of like default mode, and it just it's like the easy way out, like you don't have to be focusing that hard.
And you don't have to be yourself either. I mean, you're not really being very authentic if you're, teasing the other person, and that's comfortable for a lot of people.
And we'll talk about this, I believe, but like that stems from insecurity, like if someone is doing this for to you, like they're probably really insecure in themselves, and instead of trying to improve themselves to meet you where you are at the higher bar, they're trying to drag you down to their level,
definitely,
so that you believe that you actually deserve someone like that. So it's yucky, and let's nip it in the bud, people. So
another reason we're doing this.
So that little voice that makes you stand up for yourself when someone says something wrong to you, or that little pang of hurt that you feel, those are signs from your inner guidance system. They are messages that, hey, something is wrong. We want you to be able to feel confident listening to that voice. Why? Because it leads to happy relationships with yourself and with others. And when you ignore that voice, that's when negging works. And so we want you to be able to listen like, oh, wow, that felt hurtful. I'm going to react accordingly, instead of reacting in a way where you're trying to prove someone wrong or prove that you are worthy of their attentions and their affections.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. And you're perfectly validated in signing up for yourself. And like we're going to talk about, those voices mean something. All right. And I have a perfect example of a very, very recent negging experience. And one of the reasons this came up recently as an episode that we might do is because I had a close friend get in touch with me about a month ago, probably. And she told me that she had that day, I think, she called it a random negative experience with a man. And she wanted to talk to me about it. And she said that it had, really gotten to her and that it was making her feel insecure. Okay. The person people often go to about these things. So I'm like, ooh, let's dive in.
Tell me everything.
Exactly. Okay. So she was at a farmer's market, All right. She actually sells incredible products at a farmer's market. And there was someone near her, also selling things. They got to talking, they were hitting it off. She said that he was flirting with her and they were, enjoying their time together outside and everything. And she thought it was going really great. She gave him her IG. And so, he goes and looks at her pictures, all normal. And then she says that kind of out of nowhere, he's, scrolling and scrolling and says, what's really standing out to me is, you really looked a lot more confident, like a couple years ago, or maybe even last year than you do now. Like, what's that about? And it went into her head like crazy. And she said that he was being inquisitive about it. And so instead of examining his behavior at all, she was like, is this true? What am I doing? Like, what am I putting out there that's not confident? And and she's talking to me about it. I go, girl, that's negging. I said, that's, like a flirting tactic that some men use. I told her all about it. I gave her a couple resources, and I said it has nothing to do with you at all. He might have even been really intentional in doing that, and it's not about you. She presents perfectly confidently. She's beautiful inside and out. She's also very conscious and tuned in, but she still kind of, I don't want to say fell prey to this, but kind of, because it's so subtle the way that they do it.
So subtle. Yeah. Oh my God. And you have that effort of being like, no, I'm super fucking confident.
Right.
I'll ask you out right now. And it's like, hang on a second. Whoa.
Right.
That's terrible.
Yep. I agree. So whether or not though he was informed about negging and, pickup artistry, or whether he just like simply felt entitled to speak to someone he barely knew, in this way. It's just, what stood out to me is just how prevalent this shitty flirting behavior is. So then I slightly mentioned it to Claire, and now, a few weeks later, we're doing an episode on it. So, but it's a very real life example of how this goes down.
Yeah. Negging is generally considered to be like, a backhanded compliment, basically used in a flirtatious way that has the effect of undermining a person's confidence and subconsciously causes them to want to like earn the person's approval and prove to them, hey, like I'm worthy of your approval. And it's typically used by men in situations where they're getting to know a potential mate, such as like online, in a bar, in a social situation, at a farmer's market, apparently, it's just like, and it really gained popularity and used through the pickup artist movement. And while a lot of awareness has been raised about the toxic nature of this tactic, as we can easily see, like it's still used today. And I think it just was systematized by that movement. I don't think it didn't exist before then.
Right. Yeah. I think some of these, men writing this material probably saw that, it worked in some ways. And so, yeah, you're right. They put it into books. They put it on websites. Yes. But certainly stuff like this was going on like when we were in grade school, really.
Yeah.
So how it really works, how it goes down. All right. You make a person interested by pretending to be insightful and focused on them. This example with my friend, perfect example. He's looking at the pictures. He's pretending like he's trying to get to know her. Then you discreetly take a personal stab at the person, allowing them to continue to engage with you to prove you wrong or defend yourselves. Defend yourself, because you are playing it off like it's lighthearted, and so therefore the person might not automatically get pissed and walk away. They're going to continue to engage with you, and then you present as charming as you continue to engage and likable. Then you both laugh and make up and get to know each other. Okay, you though as the negger comes out on top, theoretically. In the power dynamic, because the other person believes you care but also subconsciously feels beholden to you for bringing your observations to light. You have also made the other person feel vulnerable, therefore bonding with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And like when we're talking about this stuff, it seems like so obvious, but when it happens in real life, it's subtle and it's hard to pick up on. And you just have like that little feeling like, wait, I'm not what you think I am. Let me prove to you that I am
Yep.
worthy.
We're going to give some examples. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. And I think that's one reason I'm excited to do this is because it doesn't stand out when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
You don't, put these labels on it. But, maybe if we can, continue the conversation, especially as more people are going out and dating, maybe more people will pick up on it.
Yeah. So, like I said before, people who use these tactics often have pretty low self-esteem. And why is that? Because if you love yourself, you want to connect with someone at a much higher level.
Yeah.
You want to connect to someone with quote high value as well. Everyone has high value, but like, typically the definition of like a high value person is someone with like not overconfidence, but high confidence, self-efficacy, has things going on in their life, like, is a unique, wonderful person.
It was authentic.
And authentic.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this is important to remember because while we don't necessarily need to date people who, have perfect self-esteem, because like what even is that? It doesn't exist. But we do want to date people who value themselves to a certain extent. Like we don't want to provide all the value that person feels for themselves.
Yeah. And I wanted to go ahead.
Yeah. That's
so I wanted to mention this because we've had a couple comments in the Facebook group of, what are we just supposed to date people who are, perfect and all together and just and it's like not necessarily, but you should have the bar at a certain level. And I would say that possibly above someone who engages in this type of flirting.
Yeah. Exactly, because like you don't want your relationship to be damaging to your self-confidence, and you don't want it to be the only place that your self-confidence comes from. So like you got to find a place in between those two extremes. So so you might also be listening and thinking, I don't think this has ever happened to me, and that you don't do it, or that you would be able to easily spot it. But like, what do you think of Janice's story? Like, would you have picked up on that? Or would you have been like, like, I guess maybe in the past year, I haven't been as confident, or be like, no, this past year I've been more confident, and that's why I haven't been like putting a ton of selfies on my Instagram. Like, look how worthy I am, and
you're engaging in it rather than just saying, okay, conversation over.
Yeah, instead of being like, okay, good luck with that, mister. Another example of like how negging can be like going under the radar is like not just commenting on someone's Instagram page, because that I think was like a pretty specific thing, but another common way is commenting on someone's body language, being like, you seem like a really closed off person, or you seem really flirty by the way you stand so confidently.
With flirty being kind of a like shaming you a little bit.
Like another could be like, I don't know, like I've experienced this one a little bit, but like, just being like, everyone thinks, you're so sexy and you just like wear these like tight pants and no one's focusing on what you're saying. They're just looking at your ass. Yeah. And it's like, well, thank you for the compliment. But also it changes your interactions with other people, and you end up thinking, oh, this person is telling me this so that I can be on the defensive with other people who are only interested in me because I'm a sexual object, and this person thinks of me differently. And there's just like,
totally. That's a really good example. So I have an example that was kind of I guess kind of discreet. This guy was almost acting like he was trying to help me. Okay, so I was hanging out with someone when I was living in Melbourne. I didn't see it as dating. I genuinely thought he just saw it as a friend thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it kind
sigh.
of, into it, I got to, I kind of started to understand that he was actually interested in me. I don't want to say turned him down, but I let him know that it wasn't going in that direction for me. We kind of hung out a little bit. He definitely was hurt by it, and I knew that, and I felt bad because I don't know what I was thinking, that he just wanted a friendship thing. But so I felt bad as well, and so I kind of wanted to stay hanging out because I actually did like him as a friend. So one night we were just chit-chatting in the car, and he actually made a comment about me being a very flirty woman, and that he now interpreted my flirtiness as neediness, and that he didn't think that I realized that, kind of as if he was helping me. But I mean, looking back, and almost right away, I kind of saw it as him kind of taking a nab at me because I, quote unquote, rejected him. Because I can assure you that I was not needy, and I don't think that other people saw it that way. But yes, he told me this, and he acted like he was trying to help me.
Yep. Yeah, because he wasn't acting that way before you rejected him.
No.
He had to like knock you down a bar.
So I mean, being flirty though is a positive thing on many levels, but it can, if someone tries to use it against you like this, I think it's a great example of negging and toxic flirting.
Yeah.
Or it could be, and I want everyone to watch out for this, is comments on your sexual history. All right. It could be something like, wow, you're really experienced, aren't you? That's just, it's stupid, but you're going to hear that. Or saying that's a lot of partners. It could be, jokes about being a slut shaming, general comments on your sexual history. It's nothing that anyone should ever comment on, no matter how many partners you've been with. It's, whether or not it's negging, it's not appropriate. Or it can be comments on your lack of experience as well. And this is another form of sexual shaming. Maybe someone on a first date would, comment on, you being really innocent, to make you feel insecure about your sexual or relationship history.
Yeah.
And doing it in a way that makes you feel like, you haven't gotten out there enough or whatever.
Yeah. Another angle is like comments on relationship history. Say you've been divorced.
Yeah.
Be like, quote, okay, divorcee, or gee, you're not great at making relationships work, are you? Like, wow, what's wrong with you? I actually had I don't think this person was flirting because it was like very obvious, like he knows that I have a boyfriend. But he was trying to convince me that I needed to improve my current relationship. And he was like, yeah, like we can talk about it. I can tell you what I've been observing. He's like, because clearly you haven't made relationships work in the past. And I'm like, okay.
So even if he wasn't trying to flirt with you necessarily, he could have been still trying to bond with you.
He was trying to bond with me, and he was trying to put like his opinion on how I conduct myself in a relationship as more worthy than my opinion, because clearly what I've been doing doesn't work, and it's like, well, let's not talk about the fact that those relationships were just meant to end, like, okay. So yeah, that was interesting. That was like negging, but like for a purpose, but not for like the date, like getting me to go on a date with him purpose.
It's a sense of entitlement that people have who do this, to comment on your life.
Another example is like We see this especially on dating apps because
Yep.
you're like going through like a texting phase.
Yep.
But you know, saying something like pretty offensive or pretty hurtful and then being like JK, you know,
Right.
just putting that JK, just kidding right afterwards. Comments on how you present. So like, you're so smart. I'd love to see you speak with more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're so sweet, you should smile more. Like things like that. Like, I see the real you, and this is
Right.
how you should adjust your behavior to show that to the rest of the world. And it's like,
Yeah.
eh.
And it makes you think, oh, how are people perceiving me? What am I, what am I doing
Yeah.
wrong? Oh, I didn't realize that. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's like, no,
Right.
you're good. Keep doing you. Or another one, you know, say in the workplace, I could tell you weren't on your best when you gave that presentation, but I think you did really great. You
Yes.
know, it's
Yep.
just like,
Cutting you down. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Disguising insults as questions. You seriously don't know that? Well, okay, I'll fill you in. Um,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right. Making you feel dumb or suggesting that you're dumb, but then
yeah.
being friendly about it makes you insecure.
Yeah.
So I got 2 examples from the Facebook group. So I asked them to let me know if there was any examples. A lot of people said they were very excited to hear about the episode, or to hear the episode. And then one person said that he often hears, you're so sensitive or compassionate for a man. Do you think that's negging?
I think so.
It's rude. Yeah, it's rude either way.
It's rude. Yeah. And it's kind of like putting those things as like almost negative.
Well, how are you
know?
supposed to react to that? How are you supposed to
Yeah.
respond? Say thank you, or do you defend your manhood?
Yeah. Just say, you're so compassionate and understanding. I love that.
Mhm.
Don't like hold it up in a measure against all other men,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
like,
Because it's a cloaked insult, I'd say. And
Yeah.
then one of our other members said that she heard from someone, you're really pretty. You must be a waitress or something.
oh, fuck no.
Okay.
I'm so mad.
No, anyone who's listening, I could see us doing some really creative social media around this or some content. So if you have experiences or examples,
Yeah.
please send them in.
Tell us.
This doesn't have to be, a 1 episode thing. We can, continue to get this out there. So
especially as like this might be the first time you're considering the fact that like you've been manipulated.
Mhm.
And there's
Right.
with the dynamic here, there's that like, wait, were they really insulting me? Like, should I be mad right now? Like, should I be hurt right now?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so tell us, and we'll be like, no, you're amazing. Ditch that person, they suck. So,
Yeah, we would definitely love
Yeah.
to hear if you think this has happened to you, or if you know. I'd get a big kick out of that. Send in
Yeah.
your stories, people.
share
All
your
right.
stories.
And I really wanted to mention this particular technique here. All right. Remember that sometimes it doesn't even need to really be words. All right. And I'm going to tell everyone about something that I have experienced and seen happen so many times. But I didn't consider it negging. All right. One of my favorite podcasters, Michelle Ellman, she does the podcast In All Honesty. I adore her. She did an episode on her last season about NLP and pickup culture. She gave a great example of a neg that is extremely subtle. Okay, Imagine this, Claire. Imagine you're chatting and flirting with someone at a bar, possibly in a small group. I could see this happening. You say something about yourself. For instance, that you like a certain sports team, or you're maybe from a certain state.
Yeah.
And the other person, probably a dude, he might say something like, oh, that's it, we can't be friends. And then physically turns his back on you.
Yeah.
And then turns back around and just, says, oh, I'm joking, right?
Yeah, it's okay. You seem cool despite that.
Right.
Know?
And it seems playful, right?
Yeah.
It's actually insidious. It's a part of this technique. Yeah. It's a neg because it's an insulting behavior clothed in a flirty behavior and meant to bring up insecurities in you. I never thought of it this
Yeah.
way. And my mind was blown when she started talking about it. So I haven't really studied pickup culture before the last couple weeks doing this, or the psychology behind it. I always thought it was just immature, just kind of dumb. But Michelle Ellman, who knows a bit more, says a lot of the time it's used in a really charming, under the guise of a joke kind of way. It can be something as silly as me saying that I don't eat fruit. And then they'll go, oh, I'm not interested anymore, and turn their back as a joke. This is part of this negging technique. As much as they say it's a joke and they'll turn back a second later, subconsciously, the bodily reaction of having someone turn their back to you creates this insecurity and creates a fear of abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
She says that a lot of the men who do this are, waiting for the moment to do this in their interactions, like waiting for something to come up so that they can do this, because it's a specific technique that they read about. And I know, so in my community back in Melbourne, for some reason, pickup artistry is a bit more prevalent over there than it is here. And you know what? I did notice a lot of guys did this.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And it's something to, keep your eyes out for. And to, and sometimes I could think that maybe they don't realize how insidious it is. That's fine. But you know what? You're perfectly, validated in at least examining it and, maybe looking at this person a little closer before you get involved with them.
Yeah, if it lines up with a pattern of other behavior that's manipulative. Body language is so important. Like we've talked a little bit about like dating and like when you want to meet someone out in the wild, you face them and you have your arms open and it's inviting in, and turning your back on someone is literally the opposite. And our biology is like, no, if someone abandons you, you will die, you will starve and you will die. And so like, that's really powerful stuff. And you shouldn't fuck around with just using that to manipulate someone. My mom's a dog trainer. And so I, from a very young age, was being taught body language. And it was always, if you want a dog to come, you turn around and you walk away because they're going to want to come and face you again. And it's like all of these things were drilled into me, and it's really like actually very applicable to humans, but we're not training dogs here. You don't want someone training you.
Exactly.
You're
that
a domestic animal.
Like,
So, you want to meet someone and like have your relationship based on an emotional and intellectual connection.
Yes, where you're facing each other.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like say someone doesn't realize how powerful turning their back on you is in terms of getting you to be interested in them. However, like they can just be a dick without ulterior motives, or just be a bitch, or like whatever gendered term you want to use. Like I try to not gender those terms, but just for anyone listening, like they can just not be a type of person you want to be dealing with. Even if they don't realize what they're doing. So,
and if you are doing this and not really realizing, the ramifications and the implications, this is your invitation to stop.
An invitation to not do that anymore, because you are worthy of relationships that aren't based on reverse psychology as well. Like everyone's losing out in this. Like there's no winner, even if you're the person who's benefiting from the reverse psychology or the NLP and all of those things.
I read some studies, and I didn't want to put them in here because I almost felt like am I making a case for doing this, you know, and I just wanted to kind of speak about our, you know, own experiences and everything, but I did read studies that did suggest that cutting someone down did in the beginning bond them to you, but that long term it didn't make for, you know, like any type of, you know, meaningful or relationship at all. And so yeah, I agree that, you know, everyone loses here.
Everyone loses. Yeah. So it's important to be able to recognize these behaviors early on because they can very much show up in committed relationships as well.
Yes.
And, you know, since we're talking about it, you know, recognize these behaviors in yourself and adjust if you have been doing this with your partner or with dating. So I had an interesting example, and I even like texted Janice. I'm like, is this negging? Like, is this toxic flirting behavior? So I had a boyfriend who you know, I don't wear that much makeup, but you know, I'd be like putting on makeup for a date or whatever. And he's like, no, you should show your face. Like, I don't like when you wear makeup because you're like actually too pretty. You shouldn't cover up your acne. And it makes me insecure and feel like people are gonna like flirt with you. And it was kind of like said as a joke, as like, you know, like, you're too good for me when you cover up your acne or when you wear makeup. And you know, like, I don't want to make my boyfriend feel like I'm too good for him. Like, even though, you know, like, that behavior
well, if he's talking
not
to you
okay.
that way.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it was like, it was a weird twist because usually when you hear about men complaining about makeup on women, it's like, oh no, you're prettier without it. And this was like, actually, I don't want you to be pretty. Like,
what a mind fuck.
Yeah. So,
and also maybe you want to wear makeup.
Yeah, maybe I just want to wear makeup.
Maybe you enjoy it.
And I'm not trying to attract other people. I just like wearing makeup, you know? Yeah.
So as far as whether or not it's, you know, negging behavior, I mean, how did it make you feel?
It didn't make me feel good. And it's like, you know, I also like, I think about these things every time a situation comes up that reminds me of like a circumstance from my past. Like, it pops into my head. So like when I put on makeup, I think about that conversation, you know, and it's just like, this is years later. Yeah, it's really interesting. And
well, then you start thinking, so if I'm not putting on makeup and that makes him feel more secure, is that because I look less good? It's it's really
exactly. And that was like the message that got to me was like, yeah, I actually do look less good without makeup. And so like 2 levels deep, then it's like, I need to wear makeup in order to be pretty.
Yes, I'm sitting here deconstructing it also, and that's all kind of where I was going to in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to look good regardless of his ego. I mean, you're
exactly. It was just like, it's so fucked. So fucked.
So me personally, I have absolutely dealt with this in relationships, and I think, you know, part of why I've been tolerant of it is partially because, you know, being raised in a culture where it's so accepted. And also I was my ex-husband, we were together for ages, and he would tease me mercilessly. I think some men enjoy teasing me because I have a very they told me this, I have a very expressive face, and so when, you know, they're teasing me and I you know, I react quite animatedly, but regardless, I hate it. You know, it's like, what are you supposed to do, whether you're upset or you laugh about it? You know, you have to react in some way, and I found that
someone who thinks
fun.
Yeah, someone who thinks it's fun to hurt a potential partner or hurt their actual partner, that's not someone we want you guys to be fucking with. Okay.
Yeah,
like, I'm so mad. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Janice.
It's okay. I mean, I have a lot of more awareness about it now, but it's definitely something that's been really prevalent in my, in my past. And, you know, and they might not know they're doing it, but it's like, even and other women who can relate, please let me know. But even when you are saying you don't like it, they still think it's funny, and
Yeah. Oh, because like your reaction is so
Yes.
big, it's so
Yeah.
satisfying. It's like,
Yes.
no.
And even when it's insulting, sometimes when you're being teased, you do kind of laugh a little,
Yeah, it's like
because
token.
it's all funny. And so anyways, yeah, I was tolerant to it. And so I'm only saying this, I'm not having a pity party. And it's just like, I'm really familiar with how this shows up in relationships. And we also had comments in the group that people thought this had happened to them with their partners, and they didn't realize it until other people pointed it out to them. So if you're wondering if perhaps this is showing up in your relationship, I have some examples of how it might be. So if your partner teases you and then you push back against it, the person may become really defensive immediately, as if, they're not the one giving you the hard time, and they may say things like, I'm sick of you criticizing me. God, lighten up a little. How many women have heard that? Lighten up a little?
Yeah, like go with the flow, be the cool girl that doesn't care about these things.
Exactly.
And it's like, no,
exactly.
Actually.
Right. And they make it so hard for you to actually take a stand. When you're being told lighten up, and everyone else is having fun, what are you meant to do? Like walk out and ruin the night? It's really messed up.
Yeah.
Or they might say, chill out. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're like putting it on you. They're like, wow,
Right.
You're so insecure, you can't take a joke. And it's
right.
like, no, actually, I just want my partner to respect me. Anyway.
Oh, you're asking for so much. Yeah, but it happens. Or they might say, don't be so sensitive. Or, of course, I'm just trying to have a bit of fun. If you haven't heard that, I would love to hear from you, because I think that's quite common. So we won't go into it now, but this is also a form of gaslighting. It is just more shaming on top of shaming. Yeah. So one reason we're doing this episode is we want you to know that you are allowed to use your voice when something doesn't feel right. Just because you're dating someone doesn't mean they have the right to tease you or neg you. Yeah. It's really messed up way of thinking, actually, but it happens.
Yeah. So what do you do with this information, and how do you avoid getting caught up in this toxic tactic? So first, love a little bit of alliteration.
There's our soundbite right there.
So first, learn to listen to your intuition. When that gut feeling happens and you're like, wow, that made me feel shitty.
Yes.
You enact step 2, which is getting comfortable acting on your intuition. Something doesn't feel right, do something or say something. The appropriate reaction from your partner, should they have just done this, without any ill intent, they say something hurtful that could be negging, you say, that made me really feel shitty. Like, please don't joke like that.
Yep.
Or and they should be like, yep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that, but I will make sure I don't do that again.
Yep.
That's the appropriate reaction, not lighten up, I'm just having fun. Like, so yeah, get comfortable acting on it, because that will tell you a lot about the person and their intentions.
Right. And if you're doing this in a dating situation, dating's a lot about research, and this is research that this is data that you're collecting on this person.
Yeah, they even like small like sub thing here, but
go for it.
Is in dating, I forgot who said it, but one thing of advice is to tell a potential partner no and set a boundary as small as it is. So that could be something like saying like, hey, that was kind of hurtful, like please don't talk to me that way. Because how that basically stranger reacts to you setting a boundary, especially when it might not make sense to them, will tell you everything you need to know about that person. So like, set a boundary, speak up when something's hurtful, and you will find out more about this person that you're considering as a potential partner. So next, also understand this is a form of abuse. It's not just shitty and emotionally immature behavior. It's actually abuse. And especially when there's a pattern of it and someone refuses to stop and is aware that this type of behavior hurts you, hell yeah, it's abuse. So, and also know it's okay to detach, walk away, say no. You do not need to give an excuse. You do not need to give an explanation of how exactly it hurt you.
Yeah.
Like, you can do what you need to do to get out of that situation. You don't owe this person anything. You know, don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to walk away. And like, worst case scenario, they didn't mean it. And they now know, oh shit, when I go on a date with someone, don't fucking act like that.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
And this apparently comes up on dating apps a lot. If you are on a dating app and it happens, you know, just hit the block button. And also you can report this type of behavior. You know, not all reports, you know, lead to actions, but I did actually read that this was a legitimate reason to report someone. Oh, yes. And then our final point is know that it is not only acceptable, but it is best to engage with people who make you feel great.
Yeah.
Right? If you say that this is your rule in dating and that this is what's going to guide you, you will end up in a happy relationship.
Oh my God. Yes. Like, you don't have to dish out chances to people who make you feel shitty.
Right.
Date people who make you feel good about yourself and who never make you like question your worthiness through their actions. Like, I think it's normal that occasionally we kind of are like, I'm feeling insecure right now. Like, that's normal, but like, it shouldn't be your partner or potential partner always like causing you to have those questioning moments. Like, date people who make you feel good. They're out there. You don't have to like mold yourself into what this random person wants. Like,
and also, no, we didn't touch on this, but maybe you should have, that even if the intent isn't there, it's still a way that this person is choosing to communicate. So I could see us getting a little pushback with someone saying, well, you know, it's not what he meant, or he didn't intend it, or it wasn't coming from a bad place. That's really not what it's about. It's
but you don't want to be with someone long term who's always making you feel bad about yourself, even if they don't mean to.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing too, is that people only really learn from consequences to their actions. And maybe this person will be nicer and better to their next partner, but they only learn when something is unacceptable, when it's not accepted anymore. So, you know, even if it's not coming from a bad place, you just don't want to be with someone who makes you not like yourself.
Yes, like we said, these little pangs of, oh, that didn't feel that great. That's what you want to listen to. That's not really, there's really no place for that when you're getting to know someone romantically.
And you don't have to have that experience dating. Like, you don't want to be having those pangs for the rest of your life when you could date someone and marry someone and be with someone forever who never makes you feel like that.
Yes. And I absolutely 100% know that there are people out there, when they're meeting someone and getting to know someone and, you know, building a relationship, they want to lift you up. They don't want to do stuff like that.
Exactly. They exist. And from my experience, it's been the majority of people, you know, are wanting to build you up and are wanting to like, who think you're amazing. And that's why they're interested in you. And they're not afraid to say it. Like, that's who you want to be dating. And you want to be that person too for others.
Yes. Yeah. I do actually hope, because we've got, I think, you know, a very, very mixed audience. So I would hope that as many people are listening to this, to learn what to watch out for, as there are people listening to this, to learn what not to do.
Yeah. We coach both men and women, and in our practices, it's been a fairly even divide. And, you know, also with non-binary people are represented in that as well, too. So, you know, this is something that's like universally experienced. And, you know, though we speak from the experience of dating men, both of us, this is something that can happen with either gender being the negger in the neggy.
Yes, don't do it. And, you know, if you're not sure, just be more intentional and conscious about your behavior when you're dating. Hopefully this will get you thinking about some of how you're going about things.
And, you know, like, we know that perfection doesn't exist. And if you say something and you're like, oh, I can see like his face just fell or her face just fell, and I realize now that didn't come out the right way. Say that. Be like, I'm so sorry. That really didn't come out right. I don't want to make you feel bad at all. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, just say something instead of being like, let's write it out and see what she does or what he does. Yeah.
All right. So would you like to chat with us about your experiences with negging and toxic flirting? Join our Facebook group. We are at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On. We've got a thriving community who is supporting each other on their moving on journeys, and we would love to have you. There's great conversations going on all of the time. It's very active. So come over there, tell us you listened to the episode and that you have an experience that you'd like to share. And I will personally chat with you about it on the page. I would love to hear about stories.
And so will our members. They like literally so many conversations happen in there. It's so beautiful to see. It's hard to keep up with. And like,
and you know, it's become just such a community vibe that, you know, there's interactions and wonderful things going on, whether or not we are involved in every single conversation.
Exactly.
And it's attracting really, you know, high vibe people. And so we do go in there quite a bit, but, you know, it's really able to have activity and life and motion regardless. So
and community is so important for healing. And you know, this is a community that you can join for free. Like, you know, it's amazing. So you can talk about the episodes and everything and get some social support, because it's so important for healing. And we might not be getting adequate social support in our just like regular IRL communities, you know? So it was important to us to be able to provide that. And so, you know, go and make use of it.
So if you are interested in joining the Facebook group, please make sure to answer all of the membership questions, because our moderator, which is
Janice,
is very strict about who she lets in. And we're both dedicated to making it a safe place. I mean, look, it is Facebook. People are coming from all over. We have to make sure that they're there for, you know, the right reasons. And unfortunately, we get a lot of requests that I can't approve. So please take one moment to answer them.
All right, guys. We love you so much. If you'd like more personalized support, please find us on IG and send us a DM. We will be in touch with more info. We also both have websites, and the Facebook group has all of our contact information as well. We are still currently accepting clients on a case-by-case basis, and we'd love to hear your story and see if working together is going to be the most beneficial for you.
Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening, and good luck out there.
Yeah, good luck out there. Thanks for listening to X-Files, a podcast about breakups, broken hearts, and moving on.
If you like this episode, tag us on your Instagram story so we can connect with you.
And you can find me, Claire, on Instagram at Claire Lofthouse.
And me, Janice, on Instagram at Janice Formicella. If you'd like to join our online community, find us on Facebook at Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On.